the fight against galamsey. Crocodile the John now said the reality has started hitting John Dramani Mahamad's administration. It looks like as a NDC for no take over from the galamsey sites. And I don't know now engaging themselves in galamsey activity, illegal mining, despite the directives from the president. Do you think, from where you sit, say it to me, who be now?
Yeah, JB, the dick I mention now,
for why you in the bank, oh, Mike? Yes.
I mention now, mention what's here for.
Oh, 1 hour.
Not menka said issue of galamsey.
Maybe near 2 minutes.
One of the major your friend is saying issues are before the elections. It take the center stage. The catcher said that was the first time you're going to major elections and not economic crown and yet the central team and they drive the conversation before elections. Now galamsey issue because of the menace and now cause to our environment, some degradation. So a lot of promises were made. President Mahama I think some initiatives have been implemented so far, but you see, what trick it down to the ground now. People who are involved in some of these things, they may have political categorization and as forth, but they are Ghanaians. They are hell bent on doing some of these things to destroy our land, and that is why those of us here want to see a certain action be a bit really down to the ground, making sure say the very individuals now more involved in some of these things, we bring them to books.
Yeah.
That is the only thing. Obi to galamsey, ye ni MPP galamsey or MPP galamsey. All we know is that there are criminal elements on the ground. Some may take partisan colors and identity in the name of being able to, outweigh the system, whatever.
Yeah, sure.
But you see, if there is this commitment on the part of the state, say, hey, we are ready, going after these individuals, irrespective of whether you are NDC, MPP, then as a foreigner. Trust me, we will be able to deal with it because at this point in time, JB, so you had degradation, quite recently, videos in as a foreigner. I understand government say people want that shift kind of way. Who say the same energy, the same destiny is going into the ground, and the truth is, we can't wait. Because every single day, land in say, and these people over the years, soldier for but still, those activities are still continuing. So it means that at the national level, we need some kind of policy orientation. The approach how I go about some of these things, never making sure that we deal with some of these things. The last time, so that may catch us say, you see, the issues like illegal mining and galamsey and to certain extent, a byproduct of this massive unemployment situation. Oko Obuase and then the enclaves and other places. Galamsey something we belong forefathers and on what pass it on to their kid to some of them vocation, full-time vocation for them. So if you want to transition these people, say, free the question is, free that is why some initiative might also be available. Say, once I will pulling the people out of this kind of activities, then you are ushering them into a certain vocation, and that's a jumabia, that kind of livelihood, and so forth. And yes, man will do everything to survive. It's the reason why a soldier for the two chase man
will do everything to survive.
Oh yes, definitely man will do everything to survive. And na soldier for the two na second chase man for yet they're still going. It means that we need to, look at our policy, directive once again. Now you're making sure that the policies are airbar that will deter people from going to the bush. And aside that, and also there is this opportunity, social incentive, and also some opportunities via available. Those who go into some of these things, then they win off from some of these things. Galamsey site, boys now who are more say they don't own anything. For daily bread. That is why they go there. And the Yabako site, there are the very people we arrest near jail. But these people don't own concession. On Nisika, they talk caterpillar. On Nisika, they hang. because or cohort because a human ho onya ade ordinary life be so they go to this site say be ya obaba fie nwumre no wanya bibi. But the very people who are involved in some of these things are the major campaigns asabi omo bibidi. They are the very people who are able to finance these Chinese, bring them into this country and make sure say they do some of these things. So I think say as a country, you know, kasa na doso. We need that kind of direction. They make sure say these are the new policy initiative for yedeba tackling this kind of menace koso. And samanfo atie simso mu to galamsey ne yehu omo. We just need to make sure say we enforce some of the emrana e ho no say be ya amanfo ebehu say these are red zones. Galamsey enya ade a o mine na ye na dwen say obeso so I understand the president says say ye de emra bi beba omo be in such a way say people will be doing mining but that will be illegal mining. That mining, you know, affect your friends say because the sense in it is say gold no from no we are dying too.
Yeah, sure.
And why don't you find a way of making sure say they do it right? You understand? The last time I proposed, said there are ways we can do some of these things because the state can form companies, enterprises and then they are in charge of some of these things. You can bring people who more expertise in these areas and every region, you know, JB. We can employ young people into some of these enterprises. They will do responsible mining and say because whenever you create a vacuum, no, it will be filled. So why don't you fill it yourself by making sure say at every regional level, no, you have some of these companies out there that will employ about 5,000 or maybe 1,000 and over young people that will go into some of these things and do it right, making sure say the state can account for it, and these people will find something very reasonable to do rather than say level 8 to individuals. Omono will just take advantage, go into some of these things, and mine at the end of the day, you know, degradation, you know, a good Ghana for Ankasa because in so say the many people who a whole consequences. Nansan ye who cry or more hospitals. Your friend is saying, Yaria, obitimi or be na soon, or be in the new all because of some of these poison I cause away young swim and sase, then as for chemicals, I gum because these people want to get the gold at all costs. So they don't care what they do. So I think that you see some of these menace we cannot allow it to as a fester and as a flourish. We need to highlight it and make sure say every single measure be available be stop some of these things, you know. We need to do just to ensure say these things, you know, become a thing of the past because galamsey so what her crime for fast or no. Now what site no who kwanya for some so funta mensase now be say how long can they take it for some of these things to recover it's mind boggling and it doesn't make sense anymore. Ghana for before the elections so the kind of discussion that comes within the space you could see say every single person is quite worried about the level of difference and degradation, but the problem is that before elections, you know, we saw a large number of people known powerful people who were sponsoring and pushing people into some of these things to do the galamsey. Until say we hold these people to account for the many crimes they committed against the state, you know, it will be an incentive for people to also go there. I make catch up because in the past there were video evidence, there were recordings, there were a lot of evidence and they are available indicating some individuals at the high hierarchy of power were involved in some of these things. At the end of the day, if these people are going to go scot-free, then it will serve as a motivation for some people who also take advantage. Say, okay, so you see that kind of thing because some people did it in the past, nobody punished them, evidence were available, they went scot-free. So at the end of the day, you know, there is enough motivation and incentive for other people to also get into some of these things and do. And for me, I think that we need to put a stop to some of these things because we cannot continue to allow our environment for best subjecting to this kind of way. And then your mining regime, you know, it is about time. You better take time, JB. Now you share kwan ya faso the natural resources and yankopon dia dom ye no. You be share so dey yesuye say be ya the people in this country will benefit. Because for me, I'm still trying to make sense out of it, say JB. Yeah, your mind blessed with gold, diamond, You can mention all the things, but
everything.
But nyansa yede ka ho a yede yusu sabe to our benefit, because we don't have it in into JB. Your time you go near the common foreign company. All the mining companies either the American company, Australian, whatever. They mine this money, these things, they take all the monies away. They don't even keep the money here. So we need to look at our mining regime. Now you're making sure, say, Ghana who own a significant percentage of whatever that we have in our country, but not foreigners who come and take everything away. So because you have the resources, outsiders are taking it. Exactly.
But and if you
go to the mining site, they have security. Ghana soldier for the police for the protecting these people to go away with our resources. Doesn't even make sense. You understand? So for me, I think that people are coming to the realization that no, say I'm fire one Jiman Kwasa as in the song to be I also a boka. Now what you find it lithium.
Yeah.
Because the world is going green, lithium is the new gold, and you can't quite ever fast. You bet me a turn a destiny into some kind of a minefield like Ghana for a bit me a benefit from. But I know the day Quabranit to meet time at the end of the coche in Nuya. A quadrille also watch 11% or watch 10%. And must see celebrating Okruma when the team belongs to us. Oko Saudi Arabia and other oil companies, oil, your first rich countries. Now you know what they do? They hide services. So you come, they pay you, and then they own it. So I know they determine how or how much of best selling. We can do all these things because I think that time has come for us to come to our senses. Now you let it go greed and that kind of selfishness over the years and dominated politics and governance in this country. Oil. Neda koma kwabranese tuna for 90% na ma 10% na sabi more dama JB. Ubenya natural resources that come kwabranese own to normal 10% when you own the 10. And baby yadri, there is no single services around the world that won't be high. All the expertise, all the knowledge. We can even start by training our own people in some of these enterprises to take over in the next 10-5 years. But those things, natural resources. I know the day we continue to live in poverty. We are living in a continent that's so blessed with almost everything to the extent that when it comes to human resources, I'm telling you, Africa, we are the richest. Look at the youthful population here. But these people have taken away all the natural resources and now they are importing the young people out there. For the last 5 years, go and check the records, the number of Ghanaians who live with the shores of this country going out there to see greener pastures. Aside that, you look at the number of nurses, you look at the number of doctors in Nasefonum. So apart from say, you lose your natural resources, the human potential, the young energy, your friends, energetic young forces, they are also going out of the country. Because I say, it can be possible. So I think that we need that reawakening, that sense of orientation. They're coming back to our senses. Time has come for us to take charge of our destiny, making sure the natural resources now benefit. Not some of these excessive partisan way. Very often you see dominating in the conversation. And you lose value on the actual issues. We need to just brush them aside and look at the issues and face them. And I think that is the only way we can move on as a country.
Okay. I say, let's also about the hobby now. I studied common and there time kakra. Abdullah Sakra, is it Sakra? Sakra, yes, Sakra. A member of the NDC communication team. Is the biggest man. He's the biggest man. Okay, now. I mean, our documents, I mean, you're probably.
Yeah.
Galamsey, they don't come you.
Galamsey, they say you're fighting, so I have to talk some.
Okay.
Ivan Akasa. What kind the Wall Street, what kind of Yawa Wogana for you now? But me say, Ivan NTS say, Nema Wakan no, me mano, me bono tofa, the mano. See, the Ivan Kayina, Obia or Chemi, new bio team, a better say, they here, I pepper any regulations.
Sure. And
then, if I be gold board, but your own tenenka. I didn't see a set of gold board. I've and here. See, no matter how we talk and talk and talk, say she share foundation here. edan no ebedwiri foundation anything from day one you start in Ghana there is no direct policy on gold anything will be ahead the wedding or year now one year buy waba the first 3 months or the document any acquire already your gold even sika stabilize the economy no and no na John Dramani Mahama aye ama gold board aba
atugalamse
yes
atugalamse
me say you will not understand here before say me even remember gold
Abdullah galamse
me pacho say galamse no you to ase within 2 seconds a system a kaba a cartel and ye dia go no so other wars when we talk about cartels anything that they have every single weapon no military can just go there they will fire them one on one and no one say me can yet radio net TV near idea no and I got said let all these media men and more can once and let us appreciate what people are doing. Look, before some about me near Ivan Hall anyway this on the 20 remember Mamin Chow I know say on the this issue on 20 there was an arrest yeah on the 23rd March Sunday we made an arrest a friend say Enchi police arrested in Kofo and court me
have an interest
yes yes but I'm giving you the
I know Enchi very well.
This is it this is a court and you know me very well this is the court on the 23rd and I check galamsey for and a chomo a friend is a friend let me give you the actual name of the area Boyne River Forest Reserve on the 23rd March 2025 and the chomo no excavators mienu and a process to court and ye excavators in the police station.
And are you aware?
Yes.
Are you aware that there's a directive for them to release court armor orders?
This is why we are here. It is a can tackle politician. Let us tackle the right thing. Politician are caught galamseyers illegal miners.
Galamseyers.
You see. And why are we blaming John Dramani Mahama? Why did we blame Nana Akufo-Addo? If politicians are not to do that, we have the mandate to do it. Yen ye wa buy mu, yen ye shegan afoso, and yen ye making sure say you best galamseyers no illegal miners no yen ye omo ebeden ebesieni ame ya winning. So when we have a prepare you know, it is time for you media men also to come together and make sure say you be fighting equally. Mamu Njinechre and Felicia, you are doing best. You are not doing best. I'm giving you an information whereby you are called galamseyers, illegal miners. I mean, you're mama police.
And are you aware?
Let me finish the particular one.
I know what you are talking about.
No, Ghana out there now, I want them to understand what we are doing. Yes. Now, you're court. Upon all the pressure in the court in a boatio, Ghana court no bois say, court no ma police for any authorities to 3 days or more returning machines na yakotina or is confiscating or more releasing map galamseyers, no more releasing galamseyers na tio. After all that, to police for no and some guide the galamseyers no new machine and go out. And this is the ruling. And this is the ruling. So we should talk about it. See only what this is the ruling. You can go through or say one that the complainant being the Forestry Service Division, Enchi District, shall hold on. Let's educate Ghanaians.
Hold on.
This is it. So fighting. Now you got your one now. If it's a bit law was released your fight when you're fighting.
So are you saying the court is presiding over illegal activities?
I have not said that. We are all fighting galamsey. Yeah,
but by this one, you are telling me.
Let's come together and fight it. Everybody is part. Police is part. Media is part. Politician is part. The Ghanaian out there is also part. You can't fight you. Emma Yan Fanko Chino, Emma Yan Fanko Court, but court the judge, releasing the Bacono. I say some police is uncle guiding the Bacono.
So, did you know this story before we Yakotuaba?
Gang.
So, like, you're fighting.
And that's why we can't do it alone. And that is why we have arrested someone. I am Janu. I am Pando machines and Janu, Yako court. Upon plea, need order. Now, your friend said, Nako court, and now Obi a down, Mose, or 3 days. Knowing very well, said 3 days to holidays. And then Friday, we not ruling the buy. 3 days, I mean, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, holiday. So before they will come, the thing is already gone. How can we fight such a thing? And as ruling, let's listen to the rule or say that the complainant, being the Forestry Service Division Enchi District, shall forfeit allow the applicant to evacuate and relocate the 2 Leongon excavator machine and other mining equipment for the forest reserve to a place of its choice outside the reserve. That the applicant shall bear full cost and expenses associated with the excavation and relocation of the 2 excavators and the equipment issue. When HSM forestry for no match police station, almost relocation, almost the applicant shall complete the evacuation and relocation within 3 days from the date of this order, which is Friday. That the applicant shall ensure that the evacuation and relocation are carried out under the supervision of the Enchi District Commander or is able representative, which they say police commander for no, and making sure say umbesa guide illegal miners no. I'm on the machine no free baby I want. I could be illegal miners no epe. Now, I say the fifth was say that this order shall be equally served per copies on the manager
Abdullah.
Forestry Service.
Abdullah. Ivan Bacho.
Okay.
Per what you've just read,
sure.
To me,
yes,
as a layman,
sure.
The understanding is that the court, you are saying the court is presiding over illegal.
I have not said that, please.
So what are you saying?
Well, I'm just telling Ghanaians, and you are fighting galamsey. You are coaching Obi. You are the court. Court say. Yenja machine na police you and san shadow so e man for machine enko na wa wo tie no na obesa boka afa ni nema afri ho. What are we talking about?
Okay,
I have a mission.
Yeah, JB. I think that you see at this point it will be unfair to be blaming because there is a new takeover and there is a programs and initiative that are being implemented.
Yeah.
But you see, my major focus shouldn't be on isolated cases. It should be about the larger policy drive by government. Because at the end of the day, we are going to look back and assess how efficient that policy has become. What did the American say? Some of these things, people will be on the ground, but the state must show that aggression. We need to be very radical in our approach by making sure say emranin say na eba no will trick it down to obia just to ensure say some of these things we are eradicating because some of these isolated cases we are then ebiba koso but the question is across the length and breadth of this country there are several places people are doing some of these illegal mining and as a for them.
And are you aware Abdullah, yeah. Are you aware the same place galamsey activities also ongoing now?
Yeah. Also, I'm not aware of that. Now, me bra Ivan, asemo kan. We see, ye na etihano. Ye dobe tobi aye na. Ye say ye be making sure say you fighting galamsey. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. I can bold say there is no single individual but one abemwa oba entertaining na manaye galamsey, and he has shown it from day one. Now, make catch your wait, illegal mining, other nana ado. Maybe I warn what has gone to this. And you say, Akufo-Addo final weeks in office saw 102 mining licenses issued. Withdraw all licenses granted for prospecting and mining in forest reserve. Give to Akufo-Addo. These are all old stories. Opinion Akufo-Addo alone cannot be blamed for difficulties. I'm just
a good microphone.
Okay, me mount all these articles to show you, baby, are you free? John Dramani Mahama buy for the past 3 months. We issue one single license, MOBia. We have not accommodated anybody.
And Yebi, it will also.
Idea be person yi na yeti ase ni say nipa ba ko enti fa nsa enkata nyameni. We all have to come on board. Now idea we na abaso maba media aba onim up to now the person also odi echi say true say ye call court true say court they say yam protect illegal miners no ana. Then how do we do it? How do we fight it? Especially say every police, especially say every security, especially say every justice, which is the judicial, which is the judicial arms. No, especially say every all. And your politician can be fighting. We all have to come on board. There is no way. Robert Captain say a judge would declare this. I don't get it. What I say?
So
I don't get it.
So. You are by this telling me, sir, you are fighting galamsey.
Yes.
And are you aware, sir, Muamun Kofoni BAB?
If you be a mensa,
sir,
but Chenio, Mensa only said, His Excellency Penino, or say, South now, I'm on crowd and car. Yes, if I say, Penino, town crowd and car, yeah. A dear John Dramani Muhammad, His Excellency, I can play, said. He will fight any person, even including his own people around him. He will fight them. All we need is evidence. Bring it on board, name and shame, and we'll make sure we take them all out. We are not joking. Galamsey fight all. Then I'm telling you for a fact. Niama eba basi in this year. No.
So
the kind of things I heard.
Go and tell His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Say the constituency secretary went to our west.
Sure, it's our west.
Galamsey.
Okay. Oh, evidence with it. We need it. No, we need it because we want to deal with it. And I'm giving you a promise, personal promise, that we will fight it. We are not ready. We are not ready to deal with it because they say, you're dealing with it. We will fight them and so we will tackle them as cartels. And when we are doing them with like a Rambo style, nobody should blame us. We are going to deal with it like a Rambo style. And nobody should blame Nema, packaging at home. It will shock you. Sure? Why gold board? No, why gold board?
Abla, remember you are on national television.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
And internet doesn't forget. On your TV,
I am happy you
doesn't forget.
I see.
Yes, but we are here. And in the amount of proof, no say. We are fighting some.
So what are the measures?
The measures in place. I don't need gold board, Aban.
And I'm with the two galamsey.
Oh, relax. You see, oh, percent, be again be NS. How to roll it is important, and how to finish it is important. Again, Ghana ha cocoa. We regulate cocoa, and easy smuggle cocoa. We all know how cocoa is being handled in Ghana. Now, gold will also be handled as the same thing. And don't forget, and making sure inflation fighting. It will make us have our physical money, make us refine the gold, not only selling gold, but refining the gold. And me brapping Eka Sendi say illegal miners no or the on two. Now again, your mom. Just me send you be meaning so who ya on your WhatsApp.
Oh no, you just
127 startup kit I more. I share ejuma your musua ejuma you share oboase just recently na na oboase yes I dey no more illegal miners former illegal miners no more yes we atwe omo free illegal miner yes train omo
I see
starting we just started within 3 months within these 3 months 127 people are actually omo ejuma omo wi a ye dey omo machines asha omo nsa omo kwakoy omo boss just because onye ejuma enti na okọ galamsey no they say if you have given him work one man shop, one man equipment, now or juma. It is wonderful, and that is what we are doing right now. And yes, sir, I buy at Rokwa. Yenim the kind during the campaign. Yenim the promises are Edema Ghanaians, and we know how to handle it. And yet, adding because Galamsey site now the kind of compaction, the kind of sophisticated weapons are a crack minus now. And yet easy. So it's all now I'm off for no more car and I ain't fighting now. Let all of us go to the bush and see what is going on over there. So see, me say it's a Rambo star, it's a movie. The kind of weapons they have, only God knows. And let me tell you something. Upon all, whatever we are doing, see, now say boys now you recruit now they are not fighters. Fighting with that tactics. No. We are using a different tactics to fight them, and we will clamp all of them. We will not be telling you, say, security stain. So we shouldn't come and say because of some push anything. What we want is the results. We will not be here to be telling people what they will do. But what we know is that they are the reason why they are watching on the 23rd, and the reason why you are court. They are the reason, and that is their first assignment. With all their weapons and evidence, every single thing you court, and then I'll see. That is what Ghanaians have to say. And then I'll court this year. Court no, a dream boom, and now yes, there be because individual cannot put law in his hands and against Ghana. All right, we need to review things and make sure say
But so those of you on Facebook. I'm enjoying the conversation on Facebook. May enjoy pa. But my make house me guso abichiska. *439#. No for option number 3. *439#. For option number 3. Na minchoska. 1,000 Ghana cedis and Musa 2,000 Gumusa 3,000 4,000 5,000 Gumusa. And the next few minutes, Mr. Tachicheska. Ivan. Now that's all quick rebuttal be.
Oh no.
Oh okay.
Come move on.
Okay. As well. Okay. So very interesting. All right. My mini can check 1,000 Ghana cedis. We are there to come on soon. The one number 0247. Yes. Oh, we have it ready. One number 0247 625. What the 1,000 Ghana cedis. 1,000 Ghana cedis. Into dial *439#. Nafa option number 3. Nafi yentuaso na yedinkobo. Now on the issue of the Attorney General Chief Justice.
Okay.
Yes, Minim Sebia, you still want to talk about it, sir?
Oh, I think that JB.
If you are nearby ECG.
Yes, I think the issue a cause of petition by there were a lot of noise in town regarding the removal of Chief Justice and that's a forum. The last time a cultural a belay premise.
Yeah.
Why most Ghanaians think the judiciary is filthy and it is important we cleanse it. JB. My culture said one of the foundational institutions of our democracy is the judiciary.
Yeah.
Over the years, we've been toying with Parliament, toying with the executive. But one thing we cannot joke with is the judiciary. But unfortunately, in the last 8 years, one of the institutions that gather a lot of debt on itself is the judiciary. Became a subject of public ridicule in a lot of conversation in this country. So, and the agenda is reset. I think one of the major things we can do is to reset that particular institution and clean it all the debt and the filter about the judiciary. Because my culture said anywhere in the world, who said there is an establishment called government. No police for the Bohobine and no soldiers. And yet the trust and confidence we citizens repose in that establishment, and the government. At any point in time, if that trust and confidence, it means that there is a problem.
Yeah.
Because a time will come, every man will become a law unto himself, and he will be creating a chaotic society, and that is what we need to avoid. You see, because of the some people thought it wise. President Entimin sorry as our Chief Justice. There is a constitutional window that has been created in Article 146 downwards. Actually, clearly, there is no ambiguity on that particular clause. Actually, the processes that need to be followed to ensure, we remove the Chief Justice, obey the petition bar. President saw that's already obey the petition, Brano. Petition here 3, calling for the removal of the Chief Justice. All of a sudden, news, people were reading a whole lot of political meaning. Yes, we are in a political environment and some of these things is possible. But you see, petition your friends a court now the Tafo MP it was frivolous.
Sir.
Just politically motivated, Sabi Nyansa Bianim, because in the sense say
he's also a lawyer.
It doesn't matter, and I won't lawyers will promote radio so can say it doesn't matter. The fact is that so we had the provisions quite clear, actually the processes that are involved, and one has to do with the president receiving a petition and forwarding same to Council of State. That is not a discretionary injunction on the president. It is a constitutional injunction on the president to submit that particular thing to the Council of State. So Council of State they review the competence of the petition because the Constitution, lay out 3 things. Outside that 3 things, the Chief Justice can never be removed. That thing is incompetence, misbehavior. JB, me person follow conversation about incompetence, misbehavior, and infirmity, both body and mind. So infirmity like we are incapable of, like incapability, and that's our body, and that's how we become incapacitated. You understand? That is what it means. So in that state, the Chief Justice can be removed. So President JB petition as a conveying belt, Najuma say on forwarded to Council of State to do this thing to ascertain whether the petition is competent or not. They do not go deeper into the merit of the case. Then I say for what I say. So they just review to know say the threshold of relevant and I'm saying that process, it is not an adversarial process. Any adverse finding can be advanced against the Chief Justice. So at that point, say a Chief Justice Akwenya say ye the side there or munyam from a marabia because at this point that process can never advance any adverse findings against the Chief Justice. Now say adverse finding against you. Why must you be heard? And the Constitution make it clear say Council of State every na now say set up a committee. Now say a committee then that process becomes an adversarial process, which adverse finding can be advanced against the Chief Justice. At that point, as the principles of natural justice dictate, the accused must be heard.
Yeah, sure.
And the Constitution, Article 148 downwards, the Chief Justice must be heard either in person or by a lawyer. So does it make sense? It will be also a lawyer. Best or the other way court. Does it even make sense when you know the early process I forwarded the petition to Council of State, it's not an adversarial process. Any negative finding can be forwarded against the Chief Justice. I understand the right is all there, but the ones are petition, a leakiba publica, a subject of first discussion, then will be aspect because I got thrown with Sumase and all the command president said, Mr. President, me copy. The president could have responded and also bet me their manner. And I'm told across all their money that. But he could have decided not to give it to me at that point because at that point you don't need her input to determine the competence of the petition. Now it's your summary, now you set up committee now. Evidence being given out required. It doesn't even make sense. So I think there is too much politics in some of these things. But JB, why this thing has to be done in such a way? My problem is we and your politics and your partisan. It is about the destiny of this country. Sure. Especially the judiciary, because you see, yet na baby na ebeduru baby na Ghana for nigidie ewo your judicial system no ma menunya asema de beba say be fast camera beba ofie because minim say court ro biti ho oje aponche obiti ho oje odwan e de justice. And that particular thing will take away public trust and confidence. And the institutions that will come at some point in time, they were just running at the behest of individual discretions. Now, institutional details, so I know the day, you saw all the state institutions fumbling. You would see your auditor general, even the media, and several other state institutions. All of them, were just kowtowing to partisan conveniences and influences in this country. Time has come for us to make it a point to say we are resetting this institution. And for me, the judiciary is one of the institutions that we need to look at, not just the Chief Justice alone. JB, if you look at your friend is saying, Supreme Court bench now. Yeah. There are some people who are sitting on the bench and they don't even fit. They are not fit for purpose. Yes, because they are sitting there with a lot of debt. For instance, how do you justify to be your only answer? I'm not talking about the partisan folks, people who will say hallelujah to everything. Within a reasonable way, your friends say, contest, you know, how do you justify so be our failed parliamentary candidate or the political party? Now the same political party will come to power and appoint the same person to Supreme Court. Does it even make sense? And what you want to say, other side, I would issue caucus. The person may be doing the right thing, but because of the back, maybe all come from a color the integrity of the judiciary. And these are some of the things. And again, the packing of the court by Yefes Kufuado. Conventionally, I'm not sure that we've gone past 14, but you go to a time and they come back 18 and as for say parliament or one pass, or one more week as America Supreme Court and I am. We will do some of these things, and the rulings that were coming out of the judiciary, you know, and as a Supreme Court, you know, were questionable. For instance, yet the global catches a birth certificate, and just how we are Ghana, you know, passport that we are Ghana. Does it even make sense? Because you know, so me my hospital, and I know how I issue birth certificate to Kate. It's not as if say you Ghana and I trust how we are Ghana you. Where baby I will free ba, their nationality will be indicated at birth. I will win so actually baby will free ba. So the mere fact that you will be Ghana have no birth certificate, you know, you cannot say because okra birth certificate, you know, foreigners have birth certificate, you know, on Ghana. So what is the primary document in this country? Wunenam hoi, ya from Nkra Brema. Yemfa abra Ghana card nyama no. What is the primary document you do what answers we Ghana ni? It's not your birth certificate. Yeah. So what then will anybody on his right senses will just sit down and say for one or two reasons, Makwashe birth certificate and then Ukra passport. Passport is just a traveling document. Sure. Who to your passport? There are vast majority of Ghanaians, they don't have it. So I know the day, you know, Obi voting for Obino is enough. Now in a community where Ubeko community are foreigners do also change Ghana for UTP, they will get people to vote for them. I know the day, you know, we will end up registering foreigners. So for me, you know, I think your judiciary, you know, we need to package all the noise in the space and just bottle it up and throw it somewhere. Let us focus on what has to be done. Because me, I support any kind of reform that should go on in the judiciary. And I think that the president should stick to his conviction. He should not be swayed by the criticisms and those things people are saying. He should believe in what he's doing. If the petition that has been submitted to him, no, so committee need to be established. Say indeed there is merit and adverse finding. You advance against the Chief Justice. She must go home. When you say you kofa software mama be patcha, you kofa him for. I think that nonsense needs to stop in this country. Because when all the nonsense were going on in the judiciary, they were even chasing people within the social space. We live in a country where people go on social media or not doing about the judiciary. The next day they approach but we live in a liberal society. It is the criticism, the input, and whatever that will come from the people, no, and they're shaping the discourse and the advancement of our democracy. We cannot shut the people up. What I say, because and give oxygen that kind of life to the judiciary. We cannot shut people up. You see, my lord, my lord. Sabi. Nipa not what they so revered, but the office you occupy, position now, and a Ghana for attach that relevance and that reverence to the office. So, who certain abuse now? It means that you lose that particular credibility and the integrity. And for me, baby, the entire person in the past in the cases in the Mijawa, there was a pointer. The NDC as a political party, any 6 other political parties, at the Electoral Commission court say registration at the district level no illegal. Catch say Chief Justice to kwan enti no omaya ya say party ni nya date ampa Chief Justice buy obema date na Electoral Commission wie adwuma oye oka yi levy Haruna Idrisu and co omudi issue no court no Supreme Court set date no na ayedan na parliament pass ya wie. So when you do some of these things in the high political cases, at the end of the day, you make people lose confidence in you. But I told you, a marking case by within less than 24 hours, not Chief Justice a panel. Okay, on a babbing case, you know. Sure. Now you do some of this and you think people are not for being confidence. So for me, the president need to follow through of this particular thing and make sure, say, men can't say any substance but if adverse finding with me advance against him, I think we need to.
And who else again? I feel say
what again?
Why be now feel say
Oh, I think there are a lot of petitions that will be flowing in.
Oh, okay.
On people sitting on the Supreme Court bench now, they need to. I think that there are a lot of things that we can do. Say reform it, and you see you see judicial now so. you be mistake JB you free where there are other institutions that need reform. For instance, ECG out when you think that happen just like that.
Remember ECG now ma Abdullah and Faraday quick one on that.
I think so we shouldn't even talk about it. Yeah, ma and I Ghana for me and say Eddie Omon Semba say more evidence just say yeah me who was now, your mammy who are some so article 146 now, what say there should be a petition to the sitting president. So, sitting president no should forward it to the Council of State.
Yeah.
Now, Council of State for so almost no who said, me. Exactly. Now, omode 2 Supreme Court judges akaho no my de omodi asem now mammy no so your friend na etie no munsem. Say intimate judges are free water. Onye better, onye get once out. So you have to pass through the law. And I mean, any a city newsroom, December 12, 2019, breaking news, news slider, top stories. Nanado nominate Enim Yeboah as new Chief Justice. Inti Yekai amount for any. The car man for say Emra and the year Juma into any this is city newsroom any city newsroom any into a dear Sida idea ebi okay say yeah mammy Charlotte say petition say any buy and another do farm kwan so another do mra kwan so pepe and who said and who are simple with you. Inti Ghana ni Ghana for me and sa Ariaba. Alright. Yeah, shum.
Mate.
Baby, I do need said me bra kind. O share the video, me bra I can't na HSA. That's a fact prior. Now we run a war system no muno. Ye proper run na if you say we run a do or if you are no or the bit my letter about. Now,
okay.
Because we are cleaning the system, we are resetting the system. Ma obian refi adewe and a catch a Ghana for you now say and our manifesto is called Resetting Ghana and may kai amount for any. This is what we say. We said jobs, accountability, and prosperity. This was our manifesto. Catch a Ghana for and resetting agenda is coming on. We will reset everywhere. Baby, I will be a one. You require some prior. You be running because me bra kra mama kai. Ama me ya okra sabi. Me refim po. Say mami we kan na you live no. Kana ni bia twa you live.
All right, Mate.
Kana ni bia twa you live bia mami we kan ho na utwa you live. Nti mo ma yem pai ma no na yen clear no. Yem pai e ma no.
Star 439# for option number 3 na mesa so emoska quick one ye ba be ECG na ya hwe details about the ECG contract and niema ayira wo use port on ma say hwe ye hu and star 439# mechiska 1000 2000 3000 4000 and the sika ofie sika wo wurem sika wo bank. It's only a child, good and most can be. But wow, number here 0557 639 693 ... What the 1000 Ghana cedis 0557 693 what the 1000 what the 1000 until social group star 439# star 439# star 439#. Now we can for Ame Scientific Herbal and Alternative Hospital, let the amount down pay. Dr. Sheikh, Dr. Amibosu, tried and tested. I say amen. Yamini Yarisa for hormone a stroke, fertility and chronic diseases. Yamia Duma, Uja Udra hormona do Yare Hormoa, and Sanso Murphy Beam. Allah Hushafi, Yame, and the Yarisa for. To be strong for Dr. Sheikh, Dr. Amibosu, what's our number whistle 0245 275254. 0245-275254 and 0244-227192 0244-227192 Hello, Dr. Sheikh Amibosu our Army Scientific and Herbal and Alternative Hospital Ivan
Maybe.
Yeah, take it some few minutes in the ECG contracts, any other related ones are a buyer and then who some PP.
Yeah, JB, I think that we are Ghana new home. Not what you decide say about isolate yourself from what is happening. Not all watches like we movie or bambi boo.
Yeah.
As a citizen, and your frustration will deepen when, as the development occurs to unfold. My appreciation at the moment there has been a criminal cartel operating within the ECG for so long. And Debbie, I think the problem I want to say, and I'm saying we Ghanaians and a section of the media, yes, so much fixated on sensationalism. Very often we look at some of these things that will cause wow within the media, but I think that there are critical aspects of this thing that we are overlooking. And also they give birth to the kind of incident within the space.
Yeah.
To begin with, if you go through procurement processes, contracts that were awarded, and the things that were being bought, you come to appreciate that there has been a lot of corruption, rot, and the friend is saying scandals are also within that particular period. Because some of the items ECG were buying will be needed in the next 10 years. So the question is, what is the motivation for Obi to make a purchase of items that will be needed in the next 10 years? If you cry lifespan, maybe 80 and 7 years. It clearly shows that particular place, a gold mine for a certain criminal cartel are no more pretty within. And way to toss the boss no. So we tell reporter some of the purchases in the caucus, he wasn't even aware. Your friends are resigning, your friends yes, at the time. Most of the procurement in Nasifo and I think that it is because of those things I can be and I'm resigning here. So clearly it shows that what we are dealing with is much bigger than what is happening at the port. I remember how later. So I think that we need to be very deliberate in our attempt in following the trail in this particular instance. Look at the procurement breaches also. When the so-called order from above leading to those things. Some of the contracts were awarded through sole sourcing.
Yeah.
ECG maintenance awarded over 573 contracts within a year to individuals. Most of them don't go through any procurement process. Then as a forum. Now besides say, yato nema we yebi. This is state to state agency and as an institution. A debe and a beba and nema ECG yato a port for almost 1.5 to almost 3 years. Bill never pale apart to a tune of about 1.something billion. These are legitimate questions. I think that we should be asking. Now, Anyasa fizeti on Niamasi or port we will end up letting a lot of criminals go scot free. So for me, I think that Niamasi is just an eye opener. I say we need to delve deeper into ECG and not just ECG alone, but other state-owned enterprises. Similar things because if you go to the energy sector, all the agencies now, ECG apart from some of these foolish procurement, buying the company was running at a loss. Now budget now. Almost 32 billion debt and that company. So now because quite arrival at this particular thing. And inefficiency one of the benchmarker the ECG because IPP is not producing more power we are come ECG say monjina monkotomra technical and commercial losses everyone need to about 32 to 42%. Now, Sabi, more dama, when I say company ni oma media, can you produce power mass as a cotton? What's the commercial and technical losses almost better to 42%. There is no single reasonable person that will run his personal company and be getting that particular losses. And you're okay with it, that becomes the order of the day. So at the end of the day, the debt in up to a tune of about 32 billion. Then within it, people were using money in our company, buying things they don't need. doing procurement as a binyansa, somebody from above will just pick a phone and then call. Now, a man for the buying things, na banana in another pack it up our way. Now, some but have a catch out. The new meters now no change, you know. Most of them were 40. But because Yatagu Hono, they needed to force it on the people. Sabia Omoba. Now say any audit be a cost, then there will be a justification. Say yabo. I'm told that no one about fees about new meter be a pamamo because I think that there is a letter, there is a communication. What will be about fees or about new meter be a police for channel because ECG so munyai. And these are some of the things they do because old meters in Nasa no cry better than the new ones from Modebano. And it has created a lot of problem all because somebody needed to procure that particular thing and make money. People did these things, made money, and at the end of the day, no, or mining their suffer. So I think that the noise in the casa should focus on the ECG itself. You see, management and procurement directors and why not phone in under so I think that all of them must be picked up. The energy minister need to start by dealing with that, not China for our Makoton, or what their reference view, or what they are just dealing with those people will not solve the problem. But the criminal cartel now is deeply embedded within the ECG. And they are the board of directors now which means a cartel were so powerful to the extent that even the board chairman could not even control them. So it means that a bino need to make conscious effort to cleanse all these things. So we catch us say yenya cleansing now which was politics because these are criminals ya embedded within our system. And some of them are smart, playing NDC MPP politics. Yes, a buying also NDC, a buying no co-opposition also MPP, and they are using their mind doing all this nasty stuff. And at the end of the day, the ECG is saying winning in depth. So I think the focus should not be what has happened at the port. And the DSC will follow up. But the criminal cartel now, multi ECG or yes answer how the many procurement breaches are caused. So we need to investigate every single one of them. Yeah, courts should be available and we prosecute these people. Serve as a lesson to people. And JB, this particular thing need to be extended to other state institutions as well. Yeah. Company or bit to say Cocoa Board. That huge sums of money. We need to find. We can't just brush them aside and say, "Oh, mamboka." Now then, company ni oma me company and kabe jamanako. We need to do forensic audit. Now you establish the extent of this crime. Course within these state institutions. That is the only way. Then Uber port wana may I'm saying say container be anyirai. Container be anyirai.
Ade.
JB. Oko porter. Containers in a good minutes or port. And yet tomato a good gas or fire that bottom. Containers are your friends big items answer our free port and go through a lot of processes. So there can never be a situation these items were lifted from the port without a paper trail. So why don't we follow the trail and make sure that the very people who are giving those orders we go after them? Because companies here come as mean they paid for it. So who who gave the order? Who picked the thing from your friends at the port? These are some of the legitimate questions that we need to find answers to. Not the noise why China for it will not solve anything. Nippon or China, you know.
Honestly,
the very people now are more allowed that particular thing to go through port to send the power. And you see, say you're very serious with this particular thing, it will present to us one opportunity to cleanse everything from the port to ECG. Because you see, all these things, Ghana, maybe sinners are also near politics, witch hunting, and as well. But JB, now we've gotten the witches. This is the time for us to hunt them. Daylight. We're in here, daylight. We need to hunt them and get them out. Because I think that the Energy Ministry and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, this is an opportunity for this government to cleanse ECG, every single person involved. What does any civil servant or it is an opportunity to get rid of all of them, and if possible, those who are involved, we prosecute them. Serve as a lesson to others. Because we cannot be coming here sitting on TV and I don't we see but who say be container or fly and then as for MPP. My question is all these issues now because I'm 40 years here. Do people really understand what is going on?
I'm not too sure.
Because everything happened in the previous government.
Yes.
Every single thing involved in this whole ECG rot, started with the Akufo-Addo government. And the subsequent proceedings, Neto, a car port, young Kwankoyi, so for people to be doing container, A2 on MPP problem, I don't even understand it. And this whole stealing and so forth, and see, no. I think the first day the energy minister went to the ground. Now they were missing. So there is no point doing politics with some of these things. I think it's a single opportunity for the energy minister to make sure, or dealing with every single person that is involved, including the ECG itself.
But I say, Abdullah.
Yeah.
I'm in Chile.
Me I say.
Oh, documents or.
Oh, say. Say the reason why I enjoy bringing documents and dealing with documents is before we are any dealing. One five document and show.
Why not?
Oh yeah, no, we are MPP 4 years. My ball, my way, no. So yeah, no, we own. So one five document and Kyei money on name of phone in my yeah. They think said they are wise. They think said they are untouchable. They think they are so wise that enye bibia hwe waboko no ye ka chewa o say oh na NDC buy containers na ira from the first day ena ye papa jina poka say only be cost wo port container which is worth $500,000 omo train ma container no call demurrage say ka demurrage you just say the container no overstay our port more than 7 days. The first 7 days no demurrage free, which is over a bar container a vessel number. Now you container the baby now. First 7 days no free. After 7 days no, every single day no it accumulates charges. And no na you find demurrage. Now omu came my demurrage no eche container no 1.5 million Ghana cedis. Demurrage on kwa into omu jano port and omu auction. Now omu auction container. Omu auction container now is worth $500,000. $500,000. Omu auction na omu auction no 100,000 Ghana cedis. And ya abro any bay any ebe which hanti bay 4 year any biom. Say Ghana sika $500,000. Ye dey akokra container aba. Na o auction auction container no at 100,000 Ghana cedis.
You are near Sarah Beton.
You are near Sarah to Philip Akona auction man no $300,000.
Sane hu here.
Aden. It is if His Excellency the President Eka said we are at a crime scene no. Na odika. That crime scene no. It is na ye prosecutor mo amafo say witch hunting. What is witch hunting about this? I have born uncophobia di. How on earth will you auction a container worth $500,000 intentionally? Say uncle demurrage. Now uncle turn 100,000 Ghana cedis. Now what's our feature top $300,000, which is what Bogana Kwaka over $800,000. Any woman. Now, maybe someone for TSA we say container to me in free port. Anybody who tells you a container is missing at the port, I'm giving you it is 1% possible and not possible. You know why? One, if you are shipping a container, you have a bill of lading containing every single details, your seal number, your port of loading, your port of destination, which is where you offload it. Two, you have a shipping line. You will take a bill from the ship because container no enya odia obidia. Nyama no agum na odia nti wakorenti container. E na odi nyama agum. Nti sa oba Ghana na udu Ghana na wo yi nyama na container wura na yeren afa na ade. So you can't steal a container at the port because the container is not an individual container. The containers are private organizations and are private companies. So you can't steal it.
Can somebody pay for the container?
Pay for a container as in
and the items.
Yeah, you can pay. That's why if it goes under auction. And the auction means nyama na aba no ni wura no wan befa na container no wura no so so yeden oje na ade nti yentimi nye hwe na o hye container no na obi ni bakọ na ya action man no yi nyama na no o sa de container yeden akọ ama ni wura ene obi bi e fe shippers own container ni say me no container nti no betima ayira ba no mpo anyira because at the port when vessel no eba say the moment a vessel na air transport call the new terminal no there is tracking a room pe there is tracking. I see. Baby a container no ko stack na container no ko see no there is tracking anything as over now be found container over 1,000 containers there hold you actual stack or container near akoyi e dey abroad for stuffing so untimi yira container and all you container now you have to pay a duty. What your duty here? You go for compliance, customs compliance to access and give you a officer obey your amount. Now when you are officer no obey your amount you go to preventive into customs no kwano your customs any all preventive any all national security any your food and drugs board and a chemist any your offense police any all GPHA officers gapoa officer into already now no security people are container baku biano they have the record. Before the container no be free stack. Edu gate na no police, national security, preventive, customs, it cannot get missing. Every single container I the reason why it's be tracking ya baby a ebi wono any share house no any say we have the container numbers. Tracking it is not difficult. Now the end say so omuyi pie na ye yi niema na eno na unja niema no. But say container na ira there you can trace it and we are tracing it. Evidence say yakochi nkofo a omu ye den omu destroy evidence na omu melt it. Na the end say how can you sell it to a foreigner? No ade ye brand new. Ah ni board no ono nane as scraps.
That's what I'm doing.
Yes, and they are broad. Why you it is a nipa say, we need delay or no side panel sat video court say, we need ye. Now, if I say bail amount, I demand no board in Manima. How on earth can a criminal take the whole government to court again? Like, it doesn't make sense. It's all deal with them. Won't allow you and deal with them. If we can't deal with them, then let us stop all this noise that we are making. But I'm telling you for a fact, in the next 4 years, ORA will deal with all these people. We will come to the logical conclusion of the ECG meeting. And your ECG, we say, you some prior, baby, a thing will be a better for resetting agenda, and we will do it. And also, just say, NDC for paying for John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency, among positions, no, they should take a clue from all this. You will not go scot-free. Don't deal in corruption. The Jumano, now papa, because Ghana for any braces here. Yeah, how we know? And he said, you won't phobia and white collar criminals. Omono, they will be there and signing, and we will be there working hard, and they will tell you, say, Unya and our papa, Abo Bracha will be papa. And your brother, mu papa boache, papa mu, krono na mu papa boache, papa mu. Omu nyanyi pa nchen papa mu ne mame mu. Krono and omu di etiema, say only umate kra nam ho kra. Now share living our nama. Then you feel like it's me lipa. What at all am I not doing? Me wanyansa, me wa doing. But yes, still I'm suffering. Why? Krono bi obi boache obi. And we are all not equal. All right. We fight every single thing. Until we are striking. Now, Kophobia omuye the omudi after from na ye back against them. All every single person we are coming after you. Ghana need research. And research no momuna youth na yeba out no. We are not ready to do NDC criminality, MPP criminality, CPP criminality. No. Every criminal is a criminal. No particular should be attached to anyone. Say, who will deal with them. We are not ready to entertain any criminal because Yabre as a nation and we don't have anything to talk of. Why? Why are we doing this to yourself? Now, but fighting we are obedient baby. Say witch hunting. Look, we will do without hunting. We will do witch hunting. We will do evil hunting. In fact, we will cleanse everywhere. Any person who needs cleansing, we will give it to them, because the journalists even themselves will cleanse the journalists. Because you have to say, I'm out for two journalists say on killing case. The whole journalist never send a video. Now corruption cost be ECG no, and from an apart to you on can watch them. But I do here I know Jinamu and I buy you say, and ya buy na ABB. What journalists no so okaho. All of you will be fished out one by one. We will not entertain anyone, because you're bread. Ghana independent. I have from how long should we fight and talk? You're good, maybe I can. You're good. You're diamond. You'll be beer. So you're bread a day. But me crying and say, I don't want Abba, Papa Abba. Ejuma biya John Dramani Mahama aye in the last 20 days of his time now what promising now he has fulfilled it. Mummona baso munshe in Ukraine mumbo mpaye mano ye mame vice president ye mo mpaye mano ye making sure say obi had in empire aka obi biechi. Then we need to reset Ghana. Elije beba economy ni ko ye nyema bo nkoye den na say won ti so obi aka dollar as a dollar kra ni Ghana have you because the dollar has been tamed. Ye nkasa the confidence that Ghanaians have with us, the entrepreneurs have with us, we will fulfill it. We will make sure we sustain the dollar. We will maintain everything. But before account for and easy, but we will deal with them. More asking, and we make sure we deal with them.
All right, I mean Abdullah say, but I think says me samba final comment or so. Nah, yeah, they no wrap it up. But star 439 hash. She say I come here 40 minutes. Number me just calling na dia gum. Just so we don't try. This is the time. This is the moment. I'll be be star 439 hash. Now for option number 3 for 5 cities for chat. Now we try to dia obedi. Ivan we ya plan board ross no. Eddie Amamu, moi discanning no. Avant has said to bet to me. I know Momo baby. What I say. Abdullah so there be road who come a friend. It's a star 439 hash no for option number 3. Nah, ya to me a name. All right, me breathy. Ivan.
Yeah, JB.
Finally, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that issue I make come once a year. Sir, I do boy issue now. At 10 years.
I mean that time I can now. Because I say.
Time, sir. Maybe. I think that there is something that we need to do. Yeah, because issue you see now focus so on the amount involved and the personalities involved. One prayer we lose guard on the weaknesses that this gentleman was able to exploit. And I think that moving forward, these are some of the areas that should be of your friends principal concern to us as a country. Said, why is it that there are so many weaknesses? So much your friends saying inserted at the heart of your governance structure now people can easily exploit and then get away with it. So the systemic weakness, I think that it is about time maybe make it a conscious effort. Never addressing it, because you live in a country where even the Nipa only nyansa kwet me your minor. It means you never be a cop. Only nyansa can easily plunder your friends' state, your friends' resources in any way and get away with it. We should be worried. And the actually even the smartest ones in the chances of movie and there's all minor bo. Because I'm telling you this because the guy sir, kind of Attorney General first on narrating the story, who follow trainer, you could see clearly that this is a damn person. I said, but because of institutional weakness, so glaring and so ineffective, he was able to exploit. So I think that we need to look at the structural way now, reforms now. President Mahama Khan wants them, we need to reform every single institution in this country, making sure, say, amount of money I move to and from in as a foreign will go through. But the thing is that if the commitment is not there, because for instance, I do what he issue when the monies were moving around, they knew. But because the whole entire destiny was compromised, Obian Hobe raise a flag. What I say, so it is about time you be making sure say the consequences that come with some of these actions and also will be so your friend saying hard say a bit disincentive for people to go into some of these things because my catcher say nipa does need always be there is that your friend say we need to do some of these things but say you shall making sure say the red lines assign her cross there are consequences. Some of these things will not happen and there are a lot of water across in this country. For me, you transcend your case, you quantify JB. And that's one chance. Sabi, Bosnia, you're born in as a for, but these monies, I could be back for bottom. Sabi, or more than Nam Krum had a yak as a sem, didn't say Munu. And I think that these are some of the things that are going forward, as a share. Now, those reforms, we need to do. Sabi, a man phone to me so easily. Take over the system and then exploit it to the advantage. Because yes, we will continue to sit here and you can't we can't end of the day, a month for baby we can never have a come which for me, it doesn't make sense. We need to take preemptive measures. Everything I'm boying. I mean, silly all the leaks. Sabaya chrono crime to mean coso. Now on top of that, you building that bank of consequences out there. Say, messy upper. These are the consequences available. And for me, we'll be able to curtail corruption, even though I almost say it's almost impossible to eradicate it completely. But I think that we can curtail it. But at this point, now I surge it to a point the state couldn't do anything. The state was helpless. It's the reason why people could steal these huge sums of money and they got away with it. We need to seal the leaks.
May I say, Ivan? Abdullah, quick one. 1 minute.
I'll buy Papa. 1 minute.
Oh yeah.
I'll buy Papa.
We just.
But the reply can work. Simply say there are some people there. I don't even know what to do. Hey, I'll buy Papa. Okay. Papa, we are working on something. Again, it's here. Attorney General can play. Say, oh no, one year press conference, or evidence. And evidence I didn't court. We say, you're gonna for them. I catch a gunner for them. Papa, I didn't court. No, Yanko will see a time. We'll win the case. Again, it's her on your appointment. No, on in 2017, and you're appointing you to BNC. Now you're appointing you to BNC. No, only do here. The funny crowd will say, oh no, Eco creative company be and also a friend of BNC. Sir. Oye Juma, Abaya Juma, BNC, Bureau of National Communication. Now, Bureau of National Communication. Now, in 2018, Abra power. One wife, I could be a private company. BNC Communication Bureau Limited. I am NP4. Matter. No, a car on my Bogana for. Never again do we have to have trust in these people. We deal with them, and in coming years, you're dealing with economy. Economy now attractive. The criminals will be jailed and criminals will be dealt with. We don't need them. Now, yes, I know. Wow, you're in this ni. Out here, bam. Who name a course? I fighting for follow. Also, who Jimubia will deal with you. Don't forget, say you'll be out doing who can say $1 million. John Dramani Muhammad dealt with the person and will deal with any single person. To all my Muslim brothers and sisters, our constituency for you, say, this is the time for us to reflect and make sure, say, you better do Obia and Don, now you making sure, say, you better Bibia Amagana.
But I say, thank you very much, Abdullah Sakra. My NDC communication team member, and Ivan, Che Innocent, also a youth activist and a social media
pressure on government.
Pressure on government.
Or more pressure.
Or more pressure, yeah. But he speaks wisdom.
Oh yes, and he will deal with it. Everything he talks about, we are having a trial. So we will deal with it.
My memo finally now, sorry, call. Star 439 hash, option number 3. Star 439 hash. Where the Macari we make a beam. Star 439 hash, option number 3. Nafi